Okay guys, let's start. I'm waiting for others. So, some of you know, my name is Konstantin Vasilyanko. I'm the co-founder of this place, Cryptocash. Just a few brief words about this place. So this is our first Latvian even Baltic crypto embassy, and it has three goals mainly. Like number one is education of the community, of people who come in, so anybody can come here and learn what is Bitcoin, how to use it, how to use hardware wallets, what software wallets, so they can basically come and consult with our consultants and get them advice. Basically on all matters on how to use cryptocurrency. Then another type of educational events is like this. So we're doing meetups and we will continue doing them. We also plan to develop some educational material for handouts. We can come in and get some kind of brochure about what is Bitcoin and so on. Then the second goal of this place is crypto merchandise. So we develop ourselves t-shirts, snapbacks, socks, different souvenirs for sale, so you can buy for you, for your friends, and make some presents and stuff like that. Also, we're official distributors of Trezor and Ledger, so you can buy the hardware wallet and be sure that it's safe and it's legit. And the final, of course, main goal is having the possibility for people to come in and buy cryptocurrency for cash or bank card. Also, you can cash out. Yeah, we offer the best rates on our Latvian market, so just 2% is our commission for cash, and in both directions, if you want to buy, if you want to sell, and if you want to buy with a bank card, it's 4.5%. So basically, it's again legal place. Everything is agreed with our authorities, with our partner bank, so it's kind of good to have a legal place for such transactions. And now, basically, to the main topic. So Eugene Pavlenko, who's our good friend, and he will tell you today about Bitcoin Rootstock. I'm also interested in myself because I'm not so into this technology, so it's interesting to listen.
Thank you, Konstantin. Thank you everybody for coming. My name is Eugene Pavlenko, and today I will tell you about Rootstock, the first open source platform for open source smart contract platform built on top of Bitcoin. And here is some information about me and my contacts. I'm CEO of Axioma. We are a software development company. We develop blockchain projects, smart contract, distributed applications, and software for crypto exchanges and other projects. And one of our projects was Proof of Toss. It was a decentralized online betting protocol, and it is built on RSK. So that's the source of this presentation, actually. So this presentation can be interesting for entrepreneurs who want to implement some decentralized application and looking for a platform, for developers who develop smart contracts and distributed applications, for miners who maybe want to know more about how they can get additional profit from their equipment, and everyone who believes in Bitcoin and its future. What is the purpose of RSK? Bitcoin has its own limitations, like it has no fully functional smart contracts. It has smart contracts, but they're quite limited on the functionality. It has a quite slow transaction rate and limited capabilities of scalability. And second layer solutions can solve these problems. and RSK is one of such solutions, actually. And its main goal is to expand functionality of Bitcoin with fully functional open source smart contracts, near instant payments, and much better scalability. So how does it work? Actually, RSK is a second layer solution, so-called sidechain. So, it utilizes Bitcoin hashing power to secure its network. So the process called merge mining, when miners mine Bitcoin, they can mine RSK in the same time without additional hardware or even additional cost for electricity. And new blocks are produced every 10 seconds. And RSK implements two-way pack to Bitcoin. That means that you can transfer Bitcoin to RSK network and back. And Bitcoin in RSK is called Smart BTC. And there is no minting process in this network. There is no minting process actually. Miners get rewards for mining. They get 80% of fees from executing smart contracts actually. 17.5% goes to RSK Labs, the developer of RSK, and the rest goes to the federation, full nodes of RSK and full nodes of Bitcoin. You can use Bitcoin in RSK as a collateral for smart contracts and to pay for gas actually. So RSK includes Ethereum virtual machine. It is called RSK virtual machine, and this virtual machine can process Solidity smart contracts. So you can take smart contracts from Ethereum and run them on RSK. These virtual machines are fully compatible, and they have in perspective of the Solidity, and their API is also fully compatible. And it is planned also to implement Java smart contracts, so people can write smart contracts in Java. About speed of RSK, it is now already quite faster than Bitcoin and Ethereum. The transaction rate is about 100 to 300 transactions per second. And after the Lumino network will be introduced, the transaction rate will be 20,000 and more. Lumino network is off-chain solution like Lightning network for Bitcoin or Raiden for Ethereum, and it also implements transaction compression protocol. It compresses transactions inside the on-chain, and also adds the off-chain layer. And here are some applications of RSK. Actually, these are the same as for Ethereum, and as the idea of RSK is to get more and like mass adoption for Bitcoin, it actually expands its use cases not only for payments but also for fully functional applications. And who's behind RSK? RSK Labs was found in 2015 in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, and since then they raised about $4.9 million of investments, and it is backed by many well-known personas and companies in blockchain community. Actually, like Bitmain, Bitfury, Jack's founder, Jack CEO. So, and here is the current state. The mainnet was launched in January 2018. It is open now only for whitelisted companies. So if you want to develop a distributed application, you must fill the form on the website, and they give you access to mainnet, actually. And in this summer, in July, BTC.com, one of the biggest mining pools in the world, integrated merge mining plugin into their pool software. So they are now testing RSK in their pool. So the latest release was last month, and it is called Orchid. It has a public node, so if you want to develop an application, in many cases you don't need your own node, you just can use public node. But when we were developing proof of token, we had some problems because actually their public node don't have couple of RPC methods, so which we were using. So we were forced to get our own node. The project is in active development. They deploy every month some minor and major releases, and they fix bugs quite quickly. We submitted several bugs during our development, and they fixed them very quickly. Yeah. So that's actually all. It's quite short, just an overview. If you have any questions, please.
Any questions?
Ask. Yeah, sure.
Can we go to the beginning?
Sure.
Now we have time to ask questions.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah.
Yes. So, for example, second layer blockchain. So, is RSK based on? Is it fork of Bitcoin or it has own protocol?
It has own protocol, but it is a separate blockchain. They just
did they fork it from Bitcoin or they created it from scratch? No.
I don't know actually. I don't remember. But how the mining process works. If you use merge mining, if you create, for example, a Bitcoin block, then you should submit it to both networks, and you write the hash of the RSK block to the Bitcoin block. Yes, and if, for example, but the difficulty of RSK block is much smaller. So you can create many more RSK blocks than Bitcoin block. So when you create just RSK block, you write the last block of Bitcoin to the hash of the Bitcoin block. So they're like connected all the time. Yeah.
And merge mining, does it reduce the mining speed of Bitcoin?
No, it doesn't reduce.
So it's just on top of existing calculations?
Yes, yes. So when you make calculations, you just always check the difficulty of the block you produced, and if the difficulty is okay for RSK, then you create a RSK block.
What is the current reward per one block? You know?
It doesn't have a reward for block creation. There's no minting process. No coins. No new coins are created. No new coins are created during the mining of RSK.
So
You just get rewards of the smart contract execution.
Is there a limited amount of RSK bitcoins to be? What is it called? Smart Bitcoin or
Smart BTC.
Smart BTC. So is it limited amount of Smart BTC?
Actually, there is no. The Smart BTC is created only when Bitcoin enters from Bitcoin to Smart BTC.
Basically, as many as Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Together, like SBTC plus BTC equals 31 million.
No, it's atomic swap.
It's like atomic swap.
Yeah, you need to lock your BTC on the main network then.
So it's similar to Lightning, basically. Because if you want to start open channel Lightning, you need to stake your BTC basically. Alright. Can you go to the next one? Yeah, can you explain this two-way peg to Bitcoin? So how does it work?
When you want to transfer bitcoins to RSK, you send it to a special address, and actually,
So you send Bitcoin to special address?
yeah, you send bitcoin to the special address. Yeah, and
It's like any exchange can create their own peg.
there is a it's kind of partially automated process, because in Bitcoin there is no it is impossible now to automate this process. The federation is working now to commit this transfer. They check if everything okay, the Bitcoin is there and it is locked, then it creates the SBTC inside RSK network.
And federation is what?
Federation is a number of nodes which have special functionality.
So you can send Bitcoin to specific address. You will get smart BTC. What then if you want to basically convert it back?
If you want to convert it back, then this thing works automatically. You send it to the smart contract, and then it is unlocked on the Bitcoin side.
And you get your Bitcoins back.
Yeah, you get your Bitcoin back.
So the address on the Bitcoin network is the same as the address.
No. You provide the address.
And the address naming convention is it the same on both networks, or does it differ?
No, it's different.
Okay. Can you go to the next one? Next slide. Yeah. So then the next question I had was like, why do they need Ethereum virtual machine? Or is it a fork of Ethereum, or is it like a copy of Ethereum virtual machine? Just
To have compatibility with Ethereum contract, so you can already develop all the.
it's basically the same smart contracts as an Ethereum, but on Bitcoin network.
Yeah.
Yes, basically.
All right. But these both networks are not intercompatible. So if I have a smart contract on Ethereum, I cannot execute a smart contract.
You can.
So you can send Ethereum to RSK.
So they are not connected,
Okay.
but if you have a smart contract, the code of smart contract, you can run it in RSK. If you have
So if you have the same smart contract on Ethereum network, you can basically just deploy it to RSK network
Yes.
without changing the code.
Yes, that is. Yeah. There were some differences, approximately half a year, but they fixed it.
So every time Ethereum releases a new version, they basically merge these changes.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah, actually, at the moment.
Do you have any statistics about, it would be interesting to see actually statistics about the popularity of Ethereum smart contracts and RSK smart contracts. How many dApps are there?
I don't have the statistics now.
But there is.
There is some, I think, yeah.
They have also their own block explorer.
Yeah.
Do they have their own CryptoKitties?
Not yet.
You said it's in closed beta now, right? So,
Yeah.
like how many?
Yeah.
Is it like tens of companies or like hundreds of thousands already?
I would say tens, not hundreds yet.
So maybe that's one of the problems of adoption, because with Ethereum anybody can start without asking for permission. I think it stops many people actually.
Yeah, that is, and yeah, they will open it soon. Yeah, they told that they will open it in the summer, but they didn't now. Yeah.
And the reason is just testing? And
Yeah,
public
just
beta?
testing. Yeah, public beta.
Alright. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah, you mentioned about Lumina network. So is it a project by RSK Labs as well? Or is
Yes,
it?
yes, it is.
So how is it different to RSK itself?
It includes two solutions. One is Lumina transaction compression protocol, which just compresses the transactions. It can be used also for Bitcoin as a soft fork to compress Bitcoin transactions. It is one part, and the second part is state channel technology.
Similar like in
Yes, yeah.
like, so it's also kind of offline,
Yeah.
I would say off-chain.
It's on-chain and off-chain solution.
It's not like it.
It's not like that.
Okay,
The point is, how is it different from the Lightning project? Why is it bringing you to the table?
The thing is that this is for RSK especially, not for Bitcoin. I don't know the details, how they technically different. I know that it is the state channels also as Lightning Network. So the idea is the same, but yeah, technically I don't know.
Why? Yeah, maybe you can explain a little bit about this proof of toss, this project. What does it actually do? Why did you need smart contracts? And why did you decide to use RSK instead of Ethereum?
Sure. So proof of toss is a decentralized betting protocol. It includes two solutions. It actually like a peer-to-peer betting platform, like Alcur, for example, and in the same time, it is a solution where existing betting companies, they can connect and take advantage of blockchain, of transparency and the trust of players, for example, because currently if you as a player, for example, you send money to the betting company, they own this money. When you bet, if you win, they can tell you that no, we don't give it to you back. Yes, but with smart contracts, the logic of this wager actually exists in blockchain. So when you place bet, you send money to the smart contract, and smart contract decides who wins. Actually,
Can you give an example of any games which are done on this proof of toss?
There are some basic examples, and actually this can be, for example, a football match, or something else, any sports game, or even like so we can, for example, have a deal together about something happening here, and if we can make a video recording of it and place the video on the network where other people can find and can check whether who wins, actually they then can judge us, for example.
So this smart contract, I mean, it's not getting information from somewhere about the event. Somebody have to come in and vote, or
Yes, there are three roles. There are three main roles in the system. The one role is who creates the event. The second role is a player who plays bets, and the third role is actually judge. So when you create an event, you tell where the source of information will be published. For example, you can create event who wins the president, who will be the next president, for example, and the result will be in news, for example. So people can go there and see whether the result is correct.
Can you spool the result with the fake jury?
The idea is that judges are selected randomly from a lot of people. So if some part of judges are not agree with other judges, they also create the issue where which should be also solved by other new judges.
okay, and why did you decide to use RSK instead of Ethereum?
Because of the transaction speed, actually, because of the speed, and there were like problems with speed, like when the CryptoKitties were launched, for example, and so client was afraid of such a situation, and he wanted some solution which would be much faster.
What about transaction cost on the RSK network?
At the moment, it's zero.
So all the
At the moment,
miners who are earning from transactions?
At the moment, yes, but it will be more actually.
Now, if your network is limited to some transactions per second, it's obviously if it gets popular, the transaction costs should rise.
Yeah.
Could that, this may be a dumb question, but could that be a shortcut for turning a single player game into a massive multiplayer online role-playing game? Because normally scaling up a game from single player to multiplayer is extremely expensive. 6 figures.
Mm-hmm.
Could this be a shortcut
You mean proof of toss project or the RSK network?
No, the RSK
The RSK.
doing what it did, proof of toss, for, let's say, instead of one person playing a game, okay, instead of scaling up the game with programming, you scale it up with proof of toss.
The idea is
A
actually
proof of toss idea.
Actually, this is about decentralization, and when there is a case where there should be trust between two people, and actually it's the main case for the blockchains for crypto.
Because multiplayer games are essentially, directly or indirectly, they are a series of bets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess it's just a matter of somebody to create a game and to figure out which part of the game can be put on the blockchain. Because you cannot put the whole game on the blockchain, right? There should be some functionality of the game which is on the blockchain.
Well, basically on blockchain you should put validation, not the execution.
Yeah, I mean you cannot put like online game on the blockchain. You can put some functions on
Yeah.
the online game.
I mean, I didn't come here expecting to talk about this, but
It's actually some part of the implementation. It's just a small part. If you are talking about a really multiplayer massive game, then maybe the currency of this game would be good to implement using RSK or Ethereum, or any other smart contract platform.
I mean, in theory, you can put CryptoKitties on RSK right now. This is already
Yeah, I'm trying to think it through because as a teaching tool in an entrepreneurship course, I created a startup simulation game in a flight simulation format. But, you know, you're playing against the platform. And you're a startup founder, and you're flying this plane, and your money is your fuel. If you run out of fuel, you crash. And you have to hire talent and you have to get funding, but you can't do both at the same time. And the player plays in a bid-ask market. In other words, he decides how much to pay. The talent to hire to complete a prototype, and what percentage of his plane, the company, to offer investors in return for getting capital. I'm wondering if this might be a shortcut to turn this thing into a multiplayer game. Because is essentially the bid ask depends upon how high you fly, how much money you have left, how much time you have left.
Yeah, this logic you can implement with smart contracts, and specifically with RSK also.
Yeah, the question is, would it cost a lot less than turning it into a multiplayer game?
No, I think it's a good question.
Yeah, it depends actually.
Yeah.
It depends for which part maybe. Yeah, in which language. Yeah.
But it would not solve all the problems because it would not solve the scalability you're talking about. Infrastructure is a completely different issue, and then the multiplayer issue is another one. You would have to look for an engine to run this multiplayer that would decrease the reliance on your own infrastructure. But it's a completely different from what the RSK solves.
Okay, fine. Now I know. It was a dumb question.
Yes.
So if RSK is now in public beta, so it means that these smart Bitcoin tokens are not on an exchange right now, or are they? Can you
That
imagine?
should be on exchange if it's not so much bigger with Bitcoin.
Yeah, it might not. It might be just on this.
So why should SBTC have different price than BTC if it's not one thing? Because you can't create SBTC without spending Bitcoin, and you can't get like BTC without spending SBTC.
I think
It's the same as with Lightning.
Yeah, I
yes,
understand.
but actually you can connect the cryptocurrency exchange to RSK and process bitcoins this way from the other side, not on the side of Bitcoin.
That
but
would be one. I can think about one situation that SBTC could have different price than BTC if some serious problems is found with RSK. People somehow can't get them all.
So right now there is no single exchange which supports SBTC because there is no point.
Right.
Okay, can we go to the next slide?
As I know, at least.
We had a few more.
Tasks password for Wi-Fi.
What are current requirements for starting smart BTC node?
Oh, I won't tell you now. I can ask my developers. Yeah, but I won't tell you now. If you have this, you can write me and I will answer this question for you.
Can we go on to the next slide? Możemy dyskonektować? Yes, basically the next question I have is, are there any other projects now developed or already live on RSK protocol, if you can tell us anything? just understand what kind of other use cases instead of those being developed based on this technology.
Other projects, actually,
You can't be the only project, right?
yeah, sure. I don't really know. I haven't looked at this information for some time. Yeah.
But your proof of thoughts, is it already live or is it still in development?
The MVP of this project is live, yes, and they will run. Actually, they are preparing to ICO. They just made an airdrop for 50,000 people.
So the actual product will be soon available, right?
The MVP is available now. Yes.
So everybody from us can go and try it? Or?
Yes. You can use MetaMask wallet in your Chrome to use it.
So, but MetaMask works with Ethereum?
Yes, but you can connect to the RSK network and use it as for Ethereum. There will be written Ether, not as BTC now, but MetaMask have plans to add this to their wallet.
Which is the presentation now?
If smart BTC blocks are attached to BTC blocks, how can smart BTC block time be much shorter?
The thing is that only the hash of smart BTC of RSK blocks is written to the Bitcoin.
Maybe vice versa. Because Bitcoin block is every 10 minutes.
Yes.
And the RSK block is every
10 seconds. Yes.
So it means that whenever a RSK block is created, you write the latest Bitcoin block.
Yes, and vice versa, actually. But not every block is written to the Bitcoin.
So then you would have 60 RSK blocks of the same Bitcoin block hash.
Yeah.
And then you write the hash of the last RSK block.
Yeah.
And who mines the RSK blocks? The special RSK miners? Or?
Full nodes are executing smart contracts, and they are attached to the pool, and the pool produces the block using the Bitcoin miners. Actually.
Since it's closed beta and not so public and you can just join it by chance, did you try 51% attack on that? Just to try.
we haven't tried it. We actually haven't mined any blocks. We just created smart contracts for that. So we haven't experimented on this side.
So just a egoistic approach, not to bring anything to the network, just to use the physical power, right?
We have our own full node of RSK, so we process smart contracts.
How long the approval process takes to join the? You said it. You need to get approval from.
I don't remember now, but it was quite quickly, maybe not more.
Also, you said the execution, the contract execution cost is paid with the same smart BTC. So there is no notion of gas from the.
There is a gas price nominated in SBTC.
Okay, so basically, is it like compatible to the Ethereum prices? So basically, each opcode nominated in SBTC.
There is some, the table, corresponding table.
in the room considered risky for their projects?
Kind of did a little bit.
You did?
Yeah, but we were afraid of the freshness and of the beta state. It was postponed a few times. We only did it.
So then you used Ethereum, right?
Yeah. First launched on Bitcoin and then on the main.
Are there like test networks for SPDC? Or
Yes, there is possible.
Are they public?
Yeah.
Are there any like different client implementation, like get parity, or is just one reference implementation of the
They
client?
have Web3. Yes. Oh, you mean the
client,
implementation?
yeah, the node itself.
They have Java node.
But I guess you can just take your Ethereum smart contract and
Yeah.
put it here.
Without, well, at least they promised that. You never know.
January.
Until you try.
Yeah.
So what if, for example, RSK doesn't believe in something that Ethereum has made? And then
They
Ethereum
believe in Bitcoin as a base protocol. Yeah.
well, yeah,
But Ethereum doesn't update their virtual machine so often. They mainly release new versions of the client, and they, upgrade the network. But the virtual machine, I don't remember when the last time.
okay, that's not a problem.
Because these guys mainly use virtual machine, right, for Ethereum. They
Yeah.
don't use the actual.
Basically, it's kind of like Ethereum, but just Bitcoin as a currency.
But in theory, yes. I mean, if Ethereum guys will do changes to virtual machine, these guys can decide to support them or not. Merge them and they're like,
The same goes with Ethereum Classic.
yeah, exactly. Actually, I haven't heard anything about Ethereum Classic. That somebody's doing anything except speculation.
I think there are some guys that make smart contracts on Ethereum Classic. At least I haven't done.
Yeah, but they must support the compatibility between smart contracts and APIs. They can do some their own updates, but they must preserve the compatibility.
Now, if you're dealing with smart contracts, presumably you're dealing with parties to contracts. With parties to contracts. Contracts are like parties. There's a party and a counterparty in every contract.
Smart contracts may have many counterparties.
Okay.
Only two.
Okay. What are the regulatory constraints in terms of personal data storage, GDPR, KYC?
As I know, this can be a problem. I just read something about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but usually in Ethereum smart contract, and I think the same here, you don't store any real data. It's just execution of just some kind of logic. You put some input, there is some kind of logic which executes and gives you output. It doesn't store data on the blockchain.
You can store data on
Yeah,
the
you
blockchain.
can, but storing data on blockchain
Costs
is
money.
expensive.
Yeah,
it's quite
expensive,
You
yeah,
are
sure.
your motivation is to store a small.
Yeah, like in Cryptokitties, you store pieces of information about each kitty, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Which kitty is an owned contract.
Yeah.
But you don't store the customer data or document or something like that. So there is no. I haven't heard any regulatory constraints about smart contracts yet.
Well, the only issue regarding GDPR is GDPR asks you that if you decided to put personal data, whatever, you must have right to delete it, and you cannot delete something from blockchain. So that's the main conflict with GDPR and the blockchain.
So you don't have the right to publish the personal information to the blockchain machine.
Yeah, let's say with Bitcoin, with top return, you can, if you have a lot of money, which you don't know where to spend, you can put whatever that you want to the blockchain, and nobody can do anything against it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this was the same problem like banks like 2 years ago when they started researching into the blockchain technologies, and they say that in the banking industry, you have this right to forget. You know, kind of the customer can request deletion of the data, and they cannot store, you know, sensitive information in the blockchain because you cannot delete it. And in the banking industry, in regulations, you must have a possibility to delete data from the banking system or, you know, to the customer data. So that was one of the showstoppers. And this is when they started to think about private blockchains with possibility to delete data.
Actually, it's in my opinion, blockchain where you can delete data doesn't make much sense.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can use just ordinary database.
Exactly.
You can use things like open timestamp where you can timestamp periodically data and put the hash into the Bitcoin blockchain, so you can always be 100% sure was the data modified or not.
That's the reason why private blockchains are not popular. Because if people were doing prototypes, they came to the same conclusion, it doesn't make sense. You know, they're not so different from.
For example, in my workplace, I do that with the database backups. We do database backups, they are encrypted, blah blah blah, but I do open timestamps on top of it. So even I can't delete data from, let's say, we called database backup. So I can always prove that data was like this week ago.
You can delete the whole database, right?
Yeah, you can delete even individual records or something, but you can always then check that, okay, this was modified.
You can't restore it.
No, you can't.
But GDPR is still the same. It's still the case. If you want to do something regulatory compliant, you have to count the factor in GDPR. That's why you normally put on the hashes of the data, hashes, just to validate that the data is present in some off-chain storage. Just if you have the data, you can verify that it was modified, for example, at a specific point in time. No one, no serious business would put any plain text data in the blockchain.
This is just inefficient at least.
Basically, there is this kind of not the job, but the state. If you don't need censorship resistance, just the kind of distributed applications, you don't need blockchains. You will get the most expensive database in the world. So yeah, blockchain is cool, but the application is quite difficult.
Alright. Any more questions?
Alright.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. I have another idea just to close this event. We never actually did any networking, right? We have a lot of people coming. It would be interesting to understand what you guys do. So this is kind of a voluntary thing. So if you want to give an introduction about yourself, like 2 minutes, who you are, what is your name, what you do. So it would be great. I can start. So again, my name is Konstantin Osienko. So Cryptocash is one of our projects. Our main project is Paybase.com. It's online exchange where you can buy crypto for fiat. Like with credit card, for example. So anybody wants to introduce themselves as well?
I'll do it. Cool. Hey, my name is Kristaps, and I work for a company called Power Mining. We are based in Latvia. We modify shipping containers to fit miners' needs, so they have the electricity distribution, networking solution, and the cooling solution. So if you have a ton of money and you want to mine, call me.
How are you doing?
Still profitable.
Is it still profitable?
It's your question.
Yeah, actually it's a good question. Is it still profitable right now?
In Latvia, most of the mining is not profitable at all.
So your mining is not in Latvia?
We don't mine personally. We sell the tools. But, if mining is profitable if you have electricity like below 6-7 cents at the moment, if you're using like a Bitcoin hardware.
Actually, there's a mine using cheap hydroelectric power in the Swiss Alps, just over the border from Belarus. And Crypto Valley lives in Zug, and that the guys are doing this. Essentially, there's this village where they located the mine, and electricity is almost free.
So we're not in Zug.
No, this is just over the Swiss-Italian border, and it's at about, I don't know, 1,600 meters or 1,800 meters.
Cool.
I tried to sell them something, but they never responded.
You should go there with a physical mine.
Okay, my name is also Kristaps. Yeah, basically I'm a software developer, but free time I do some Bitcoin development stuff.
Bitcoin developer, can you give me a
Well, I'm actually Bitcoin Core contributor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a few patches. I'm actually not working on one video right now. And I'm interested also in Bitcoin privacy anonymity thing. So I also did some contributions to join market project. It's like a coin join.
Interesting. And your primary development is about Java, PHP, what is technology?
C++. That's basically what I like. Now I did some, when I do something my own, I actually do also in Bash using Bitcoin C. Unfortunately, I need to learn Python because almost everything is now written in Python. But I don't, well, I will never write in CD that I know Python. I can do some small changes, but yeah, I feel the need to put more into Python.
Interesting to know that we have somebody from Latvia who is contributing to the Bitcoin Core.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I also want to. Thanks. Anybody else?
I could say hello and goodbye. Hello everyone.
Hello.
Okay, I think I would be the least experienced person in the room. I'm just a master's student, very interested in blockchain in general. That's why I'm here, trying to pop in every conference or meeting about blockchain. I was glad to hear about the project. Kind of understood, I would say, like a bit what I could. So, unfortunately, I don't really work in IT. I'm a sales expert, like pretty far away. But yeah, maybe one day I will have like enough knowledge about blockchain because it's really interesting. That's very much it.
Cool.
Thanks.
I'm Lester Golden. I'm a New Yorker living in Riga since 2005. And I started becoming an investor in startups as an angel investor while teaching at Riga Business School, because I was teaching entrepreneurship. And then about a year ago, an American living in Riga who's used to work for WebID came to me with his business idea to take advantage of the GDPR and do online, to create a platform, an end-to-end online ID document and video call system. So we are in the middle of developing, essentially I moved to the other side of the table. I moved from the investor side of the table to the co-founder side of the table. I am without a doubt the oldest entrepreneur in the Baltics. I'm 63. And
You look great.
I appreciate your optimism. I was actually supposed to be playing basketball tonight, and I couldn't go because I was injured yesterday playing basketball.
So we are
So-
lucky to have you here.
Yeah, normally Tuesdays and Wednesdays every week I play basketball. But anyway, so I moved from one side of the table to the other, and we're in the process of developing our platform. It's called Verify Online, VERIFEYE, and our competitors are Verif in Estonia, Onfido, Trulio, Gimio. And what we found is really interesting. The I mean, we're interested in blockchain and crypto because when I was at Crypto Valley Labs twice this year, in March and May, the director told me, when I told him what we were doing, he said, yeah, a year ago, all these guys were laughing at KYC and AML, and now they're not laughing anymore. They know they all need it. As soon as you have a live demo, come back and talk to me. So in a couple of weeks, we're gonna have a live demo, hopefully in time for the Digital Freedom Festival. And we want to launch in January. We're kind of a backward startup. My partner is a banking and insurance consultant, and he has clients. So we have the clients, but we don't have the product, which is kind of backwards.
Which is good.
It's a nice problem to have.
Yeah.
The GDPR is creating an environment in which there is this gold rush that is attracting all kinds of startups ready to sell blue jeans and shovels to gold miners. And you know, if you look at Danske Bank, Deutsche Bank, Wells Fargo, 1.5 million fraudulent accounts, ID verification is going to be a very, very interesting business. I don't think finding the clients will be a problem. The problem will be getting the regulators to figure out for themselves what is compliant and what isn't. Because we have talked to them, we have been sandboxed. I have talked to the senior lawyer at the DVI, who's the liaison to the Data Protection Office in Dublin. And he has this little Bible, it's about this big, about this thick, and it's essentially an annotated version of the GDPR. So we spent 2 hours with him to talk about, well, what's the legal basis for workflow on a platform that essentially supplies a KYC and AML service to financial institutions. And fundamentally, a crypto exchange, a crypto platform, an ICO is a financial institution. I call it the duck test. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, sounds like a duck, it is a duck. The CFTC just said, yeah, ICOs are securities. So if you're an anarcho-libertarian thinking that compliance doesn't matter, I have interesting news for you.
No, it's obvious that all the centralized things like ICOs are basically, it's usually one company behind each ICO or one person. They will be treated as securities, and there is already some fees to as long as they're Delta paid.
Yeah, but I guess
another thing, there was a site called onebroker.com.
Yeah.
It was anonymous site. You only needed your email and password, and you could deposit Bitcoin there and then speculate on traditional financial markets. And they weren't even American; they were an Austrian company. But one American agent registered there, did few trades, and that was enough for Americans to close down because they don't do KYC. If you only way how can anything survive without doing KYC, it's if it's completely decentralized, like this network, for example, stuff like that. But if it's centralized, sooner or later,
they are just too small. These hodl.
Well, hodl has problems because they are centralized. If it's completely decentralized, it's the same as with Bitcoin. But it's also another thing. It will most likely never be big enough because it's hard to use. Or ordinary person will not use this network. They just use Coinbase.
Can you tell what services your solution will provide? I mean, for example, Ion Exchange. What services can you provide for them?
To start, we do the GDPR customer rights disclosures at the beginning of the platform. In other words, it's an HTML web-based platform. It's not a native mobile app. And the link is on the financial institution's website. And when the customer, in other words, the retail data subject, clicks the link, he gets sent immediately to 6 GDPR customer rights disclosures. Unbundled, itemized, and has to click each one separately. And then get sent to the ID document verification app.
So you do ID document verification as well?
Yes. And then at the end of the document verification, the customer clicks start verification call. And will get sent to the call center, and it's a video call like N26 Bank, TransferWise, any of those guys. And you don't have to hold your document up to the webcam because the ID document verification app has already done that. The key to the video call is the Austrian regulations, the Austrian FMA, which comes from BaFin, and all the countries in the Balkans, for example, are copy-pasting the Austrian regulations. And they mandate human intervention in KYC and AML because it is the job of the call center agent to detect, to verify logical consistency in the customer's story. So automated ID verification in Austria and Slovenia, for example, they're both yeah.
It's like Bitstamp, isn't it?
Bitstamp verification is slow.
But where's Bitstamp from?
Slovenia, but they exited recently to Belgium.
Because their KYC is pretty easy actually.
Yeah, but it wasn't, I think it wasn't very fast. It's with Coinbase. Coinbase do it in a few minutes. I think they automatically scan it.
There are two things you have to do in a video call.
Yeah, Coinbase don't ask for
you have to do a fraud test, a liveness test, and a duress test. You have to figure out if the customer is being coerced, or you ask things like, where were you born? If the customer takes more than half a second or 1 second to reply, go to the bank.
Yeah, but this is for legal, financial, regulated institutions. Most crypto exchanges are not regulated yet. So they can do remote identification without following these rules right now.
Unless it's determined that they are selling securities.
Yes.
And there are two things that determine whether or not you're selling securities. Centralization and fungibility. I don't know how to translate fungibility into Russian.
Privacy.
Fungibility is, oil is fungible. One barrel of oil is just like another. So if the asset is fungible, it's a security. The CFTC just said this a couple months ago.
Dollar is not security, but it's also fungible, like currency.
A dollar packaged into treasury bonds is a security.
Yeah, but dollar itself.
The dollar itself is not
It's a
fungible.
shitcoin.
Does Bitcoin?
Yes,
but Bitcoin is not central. Does it? I think
Bitcoin is not a security
yeah,
by itself.
That's what I say. Yeah, because ICOs they clearly are securities because they are centralized, they issue it, and blah blah blah.
But Bitcoin, Litecoin, Publica, if there are an exchange,
but
that exchange is regulated.
I think with one
It's centralized.
one exception that's also questionable how it will resolve. But then, if there was pre-mine, so if the founders had some initial amount of that coin, then probably it can also be treated as security.
Yeah,
because you just created it from the thin air, and then you sell it to people. It's not like the Bitcoin such thing didn't
Actually, it has millions.
One of my former students at Riga Business School is starting a how would you say crypto to traditional financial assets exchange, Ethereum. Okay, and periodically we meet every couple of months, and we talk compliance. And I told him about the duck test. Okay, there's a reason why I cannot trade on his platform. I'm a U.S. citizen, even though I live here. I'm a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
He doesn't want me.
That's the first thing. If you do something and you're not sure, then better just ban American American citizens
Yeah.
are using it. That's safer.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. But thank you very much for telling us what you do.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
I'll show you up on this.
I think for today we can wrap up. Next time we will do it again. So stay tuned and follow our Facebook and meetup page.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I think actually interesting because I think I was contacted by your sales.
Well, this is two of it.
Girl.
Somebody else.